Hey everyone out there in YouTube land, thank you for joining me for another video here on Retro Geek Gaming, where we like to talk about stuff that is retro, stuff that is geek, and stuff that's gaming related. Now, I do want to go ahead before we get into today's video and thank all of you that do watch my content. I know that I have a very small sub base right now. Don't get a whole lot of views, but anyone that does support the channel is greatly appreciated. So with that in mind, you can always feel free to like this video, so that way I know that you have seen it. It's to help support the channel, because then I know what's getting views and what's getting people interested in this channel, so I can try to do more content like that. And you always, of course, you can feel free to subscribe to the channel, as I'd like to do stuff like this every other day or so, depending upon news topics. And so just with that in mind, guys, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully more content can come out in the future. This has been talked about in the podcast in the past, about how I would like to maybe expand the channel out more to be more geeky stuff, but for right now we're just sticking with this until, you know, we sort of figure out what's going to happen there. But enough about babbling about that. Let's go ahead and get into today's video topic, which of course shows here that the PSVR 2 doesn't have backwards compatibility for PlayStation VR games. PSVR 2 is the upcoming VR headset from Sony for the PlayStation 5, and you won't be able to play the original PSVR games, which is perfectly fine by me. I know there are some people that are upset by it, and I can see why. Because, I mean, it would be nice if I could download PSVR games and get improved movement. I mean, some of the issues that I've had with games, some games like Wanderer, for an example, are that they sort of have these weird movement mechanics that take some while to get used to, and it would just be easier if I was able to just go and, you know, just move the analog stick and play them. But I understand that, because, I mean, look, first of all, I've said this before, that we really need to get to a point to where we're doing next-gen stuff only. So this is a good thing, because PSVR games are not compatible with PSVR 2, this says, because PSVR 2 is designed to truly deliver a next-generation VR experience. And, of course, we know that because it has the haptic feedback in the controllers, it has the adaptive triggers, it has eye tracking, it has, you know, I think it has some kind of a sensor in the forehead area that sends back feedback, so if you can feel like raindrops dropping on you, for example. And of course it has the analog sticks in the controller, so that way that's something where you can, of course, just move more freely. So it makes a ton of sense as to why it's not backwards compatible, at least for me. And I would much rather have that. I mean, it kind of sucks, because again, this means that if I want to play the PSVR games, I have to go through the whole clunky process of installing the box to the back of the PlayStation, then plug it in, and run the cable, and then run the connectors that go from the box to the PSVR headset, and then pull out move controllers. It's a big clunky mess. I would much rather be able to just, you know, plug it into the Type-C and pull out the new controllers and play them. But this might change in the future. You know, we might get some cross-platform games like what we do now with PS4 and PS5. We might get some cross games. It's like if you have PSVR, it will still work. But if you have PSVR 2, maybe it's an enhanced version or something. But that being said, it's not that big of a deal, because we have better VR options out there. You know, even the MetaQuest has the option to use just sticks, you know. So being able to still use those move controllers in 2020, that's just weird. So I'm kind of glad, personally, that we don't have to worry about the move controllers. I can retire the PSVR or just keep it connected strictly in my PS4. You know, so it works out either way, because this also can mean crossplay. Like, again, I can have somebody playing the PSVR 1 and they're in a game with me on the PSVR 2, especially if it's a cross-platform game that's on both generations. But I think this is a good thing ultimately. Like I said, I've said this in the Cyberpunk video, I've said this before, it kind of sucks that we're losing these backwards compatible games, but I would much rather them have to focus on the PSVR 2 and its capabilities to make the games the best that they possibly can than worry about an older version of the game. You know, I've said this for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. I really want them to just drop the last gen so that way we can make PS5 games look and run the best that they absolutely can, because they're using the PS5's capabilities and not thinking about, well, can we get this to also run on an Xbox One? Can we get this to run on a PS4? That's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think about this, though? Do you think that it's kind of anti-consumer and sort of a bad move for Sony? Because I kind of see that. I kind of see how it's a bad move, but also I kind of see it as it's a good move, because now we have a VR system that's going to take full advantage of its capabilities. Kind of how I feel the other VR options are, like the MetaQuest and stuff like that. They're using just that specific system and that specific eco structure to make sure that these games are working the best that they can. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. I appreciate you watching, if you did watch, as I talked about in the beginning. And you can always feel free to leave a comment on this down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think. And if nothing else, if you guys don't feel like liking or subscribing, leaving a comment, that's perfectly fine. You can keep coming back and watching the channel, enjoy older stuff. And I should be back on Wednesday for some new gaming-related content. Hopefully you'll join me then. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you next time.